Wow, try keep up, everyone. Try and keep up. What a day of updates we have had. It has been absolutely relentless, and I'm here to talk to you all about it. It's 12:34. I was meant to go live 4 minutes ago. I was here ready to go. Honestly, not on me. News comes through about Tavares and an accepted proposal for him to go to Lazio for Fabrizio Romano coming with the exclusive there. We'll talk about that. The Bentley rejected bid, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, and much more. I've been covering the breaking news for AFTV across the morning, and it's been absolutely relentless. And I just put this stream together just to chat to you all about it, like all the different rumors and reports about the players that could be leaving, where we were with everything, and it's just been like non-stop. I did have this set for 12:30, and I didn't want to delay you all any further, so apologies for that. But yeah, here we are. Yeah, just loads happening. Hi everyone, hope you're all good. See some of you in the comments. And this from JD Sky, JD Sky. Market's moving. He's absolutely spot on. The market is moving. Things are happening on the buying and selling front, it seems anyway. Though, of course, we want a little bit more to happen on the buying front. But at least we know that things in the market are starting to get going. So let's just break everything down. I think we've got to start with the Tavares thing because it's just so raw. It's just happened, right? Let me. Oh, do you know, I need to share my screen. I had this all set up and Tavares managed to sort of go ruin all that for me. But here we go. Right. As you can see, let me look over to it. Arsenal have accepted Lazio's final proposal to sign Nuno Tavares on loan with an obligation to buy at 7 to 8 million euros, which I reckon is about £5-6 million. So Arsenal pretty much made their money back on the player. Arsenal also have a sell-on clause. Negotiations are going on with Tavares' agent on personal terms. I'm going to full reaction to this on AFTV very shortly, although AFTV might have covered it by then. But generally, my thoughts are you've made your money back. £7 million we spent on him, so we're getting about £5 to £6 million back. There's a sell-on clause. I imagine it will get sold in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe. And if they make anything near 5 to 10 million, then Arsenal have sort of done well from this deal. Obviously, it depends what the sell-on clause is. How much of a sell-on clause is there? But that's a pretty big up. Well, it's not a huge update in terms of like what it means for the squad and Arsenal's ability to sign players and anything like that. But I think it's a big update in the sense that like it's confirmation that a player is making their way out, and that's got moving now. So yeah, that's a really big. It's really big in terms of like confirmation. It's the same with this Dan Bentley thing, which we're going to talk about very soon. It's a bid rejected. It's Arsenal actually making a serious attempt to sign a player. Obviously, with everything we've been hearing with Calafiori, we're hearing that conversations are going well. Romano's talked about that a lot, but there's been nothing in the way of like a Arsenal have bid and Bologna have rejected, or Arsenal have bid and blah blah has been accepted, or whatever. This is sort of concrete information that Tavares is on his way to Lazio. This is a good move for him, may I say. I mean, who's he played for? He's played for Nottingham Forest. Since coming to Arsenal, he's played for Nottingham Forest, Marseille, and now Lazio. It's like 4 massive clubs. And he was at Benfica before. That's not a bad CV, people, for a player that is low-key a bit ridiculed. Like, he's sort of seen as this kind of chaotic player, but there's no doubt that if you're looking for a pretty explosive fullback who's really very good as a wing back more than anything, gets up and down the pitch, is a little bit unpredictable. Yeah, the game's moved towards more control and knowing what you're going to get from players, but this is a player who can make things happen out of nothing. Maybe I'm probably being too kind. In fact, I am. He wasn't good enough for Arsenal. We know that he had mistakes in him. He couldn't defend well enough, but there is that unpredictability about him, and he's sort of known as this kind of raw potential. You feel like, if he matures a little bit in his game, there's a player there that I think people go, yeah, it's kind of worth a go. I think that's why pretty good clubs have come in for him every time. He's got sort of better suitors than other clubs or other players that were looking to move on. So fair play to him. That'd be a really good move for him. Yeah, that not much more to add to that. I think Arsenal have got at least a fairly sensible deal back. So let's see what happens. Let's take that down for a second, just see some of your comments on the Tavares stuff. Why are you waffling fast? Says West Brom. Worry about your transfers. No, look, because there's so much going on. There's so much going on, and I'm just all trying to keep up with it all. So yeah, I'll try and speak slowly. Jason said it's a bad CV if he's been moved on from all those clubs. Well, no, not really, because they're all loans. So not yeah. I just think it's a decent CV in terms of the clubs he's got on. But look, are we that worried about what his CV looks like? I'm just saying it's yeah, it's a good set of clubs he's played for. John says, hello, James. The market is not moving as the way we, the fans, want it to go. John, I think, look, if you're looking from the perspective of we just want signings, okay, fine. But things are like, in terms of the outgoings and incomings, things are starting to pick up. It's significantly more than what was going on in June. June was incredibly quiet. And I'm not saying that all these are, before people get confused, right? I'm not saying, wow, Tavares out, Bentley in, we're going to win the league. Obviously not. But it does support the theories that getting into July and coming towards the end of the Euros, things are going to pick up. Now, those theories weren't particularly clever theories. No one, no one came out with some super clever idea there when I was pitching that and others were. But I think there was a fear that Arsenal were a bit stuck in terms of doing, buying players until they got players out, that maybe Arsenal weren't going to have that busier window because of PSR concerns. And all this is showing us that, no, there is a market. It's maybe not at the super high level in terms of the money being moved around, big players moving around, but things are starting to pick up, is all I would say. Akshat says, Marseille after Eddie. Yes, we are going to talk about that in a little bit. And of course, we have to talk about this. £50,000 is kind of hilarious. I agree. We're going to talk about that when it comes to Dan Bentley very, very soon. And in fact, I think we probably should move on to that now. Get your comments in, get your thoughts in. I'd love to know what you make of all this going on. And let me also tell you that I'm doing this live because of all the news that's been breaking. But actually, there were links and reports to Eze earlier in the week. And with everything going on with Smith Rowe and his potential move to Fulham, which seems to be picking up pace, I just did a video talking about how the in and out is sort of interesting. Is it Smith Rowe out for Eze in? That is coming out in a few hours. And of course, England play tonight. So a lot going on. Okay, let's gather our thoughts, composure, and then go over to what we found out from David Ornstein. Here we go. Let's get that on screen. Actually, yeah, pop that there. There we are. You can see that, yeah? So, David Ornstein with the news this morning around 8:15 a.m. said Arsenal have made an opening offer for Wolves goalkeeper Dan Bentley. Proposal immediately turned down, well below Wolves' valuation of important squad member. Arsenal targeting 30-year-old Englishman as third choice to strengthen ranks in pre-season and beyond. So a couple of things. I talked about this on an AFTV breaking news reaction. We're into a lot of detail about that. So if you want to go watch that, I would urge you all to go have a look at that video. My takeaways from this in particular are they made an offer. So our theory when we did the live on Sunday that the Dan Bentley contact made by Wolves and the fact that, made by Arsenal to Wolves and the fact that David Ornstein had sort of got information on this, we sort of took that when we were discussing on the channel as a prediction of actually something really moving along with this deal, because David Ornstein doesn't really come out with this stuff unless there's something happening. Only 2-3 days later, we're finding out a bid's been made and it's been rejected. Now, the funny thing about all this is that the offer, according to Sky Sports, was around £50,000. Look, I'm not really stressed about whether we sign Dan Bentley or not. That's a pretty insulting offer, I think. This is a championship goalkeeper at 30 years old who's homegrown. Like, there is value to this guy. And 50,000 in the world of football transfer fees is kind of nuts. It's hilarious. I mean, again, and I'm at risk of repeating myself, when you're covering transfers and all the updates, you can repeat yourself. But it's like I said on the podcast with Laura and Alex Forder, who were brilliant. Of course, Sharoy was there too. We said on the Goonerverse podcast, like, I thought it was maybe a £15 million bid, £15 million fee or £10 million fee they wanted, with us offering 2-3 million, but 50,000 with them wanting £1 million. I mean, fair play, Arsenal. You got some nerve. Maybe they'll get a deal done around 500,000-600,000. But yeah, I mean, this should be a deal that Arsenal feel confident they can get done. But let's see. I mean, the important thing here is, again, it supports our theory that, if we just show you here, the third choice. And again, I went live on Sunday to discuss this. And I have to be really honest with you, people. When I went live, my gut feeling was, do this. There's something to talk about here. But I sort of saw some of the comments on the video of the AFTV breaking news I did a couple hours ago about this bid, and people going, we don't care about a third choice goalkeeper. AFTV scraping the barrel. What are you talking about here? And for me, it's like, well, hold on. This tells us quite a lot. Like, it might not be a massive update that's going to take us to the title. Again, it's not a super sexy, exciting signing. But the one thing this does kind of tell us is that, A, it confirms that he's going to be a third choice, which we predicted on the live show on Sunday. It also tells us that Ramsdale isn't close to leaving. This isn't about moving Aaron Ramsdale on. And this isn't about, basically us having our sort of first and second choice goalkeeper thing moving along. I'm mumbling my words. It tells us that Ramsdale isn't close to leaving, nor that there's a second choice goalkeeper close to coming in, and that the Hind contract with a view to him going on loan means that is going to probably happen. And this is just seen as an easy deal for Arsenal to get done. Clearly, Bentley as well is happy to be third choice goalkeeper. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it gets done probably. If Bentley's happy to have that part in the squad to play, then fair enough. I really don't have much more to add to that. I've said a million times, I don't know how good a goalkeeper he is. Some people who have watched him a little bit more frequently say he is good. He's an all right goalkeeper. He did well in the Championship, but a third choice, we're probably not going to see him a lot. So this is just a case of just getting a job done for the squad and for a quota, I imagine, maybe. Because isn't there a certain amount of homegrown players you have to have? I don't know. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. He's well within Yaki Kanya, as we've talked about. So let's see. 500,000 though. I mean, that is hilarious. I mean, fair play. The nerve of Arsenal to come up with that offer. So that's everything there. Let's just go into some other stuff. Eddie and Nketiah. Again, I've done a breaking news on AFTV on this. Marseille exploring the possibility of signing Eddie. I'm not sure Marseille are really going to have the money to do this deal, but let's see. Only because, we want 50 million, apparently. That was Alex Crook who said that. And obviously not much has progressed since that report. But Marseille haven't spent more than 30 million on a player before. So they'd have to, they'd have to smash their transfer record to get Eddie Nketiah. They've just appointed De Zerbi, so there's a possibility of it. But yeah, I'm not sure he ends up there. I think the Premier League's more likely, but let's see. Just some quick other sort of sales updates just to quickly tell you about. West Ham increasingly more interested in Reece Nelson, of course, according to ex-West Ham employee there. Go follow. He's always very good with this kind of stuff, especially when it comes to West Ham. I think that'd be a really good move for Reece Nelson. We'll see if that happens. These live shows are really about bringing you actual kind of news and things that are confirmed, hence the Bentley bid, hence the Tavares update. These are more just kind of rumors and stuff doing the rounds, but I just thought I'd let you know about that. Mikel Merino as well. Romano said that Merino is on the list at Barcelona. Arsenal have also been tracking him, so we'll see what happens there. Caught offside, saying that the Calafiori situation is moving along, but Kivior's name has come up in conversation between Arsenal and Bologna. I think Kivior will get to move after this Calafiori deal if it gets done. So let's see what happens there. Romano also an update on Calafiori saying the negotiations are still going on between Arsenal and Bologna for Calafiori. It's not a done deal yet. They're still discussing the fee and deal structure, add-ons and more. We'll just wait, see what happens. Calafiori wants Arsenal and is waiting for Arsenal. That's the update there. Again, not much else. When there is a big update on Calafiori, we'll do a reaction to it on this channel. Is £50 million a reasonable asking price for Ramsdale? Ask AFTV, as Arsenal value Ramsdale at 50 million, according to the Sun Sport. And then what is the final thing I want to show you all? Yeah, there we go. So I had this ready to go. So Arsenal have agreed a loan with obligation for Tavares with Lazio, amount of €7. Lazio need to get full agreement from the player. This came from Alfredo Padula. This is the first person. I had this ready 3 hours ago to talk about, but I forgot I sort of had this update, but it was Romano who came with the official one that everyone's kind of running with. But this was confirmed by Alfredo Padula, so credit to him because he's got that absolutely spot on, and that came out 3 hours ago. So yeah, the news filtering through that Nuno Tavares is going to be leaving Arsenal, and the big update was this one from Fabrizio Romano. That's everything there in terms of transfer updates, people, what's going on in terms of live updates. Let's just get some of your questions and thoughts, and then we'll wrap up there probably on the 20-minute mark. This is quite a quick update because none of this is like groundbreaking news. None of this is a case of Arsenal. It's not about Eze, it's not about Calafiori, it's not about Nico Williams. And that's not to say that these things don't matter, but there are updates that are just worth talking about and getting all your thoughts on. Danny, thank you so much. Danny Hussein, I see your comment. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Sachin asks, what do you make of the information on Eze? Sachin, I thought it was a really interesting development that Man City, according to The Athletic, are no longer or aren't currently pursuing a deal for Eze. I do think that's an interesting update. In terms of what it means for Arsenal, I don't know. We were on the interested clubs. I don't know if the fact that it's a £60 million release clause just feels too good, and therefore Arsenal have discussed him internally, which, of course, why wouldn't they? I don't know if it's whether it's more that rather than it's a player we really want, and there just happens to be this £60 million release clause we could do. I feel like Arsenal are looking at more the market and opportunities as opposed to targeting very particular players like they did with Durin, Timber, and Kai Havertz last season. I think this is more about, what opportunities are there to strengthen the squad in any way we can. So let's see. I would really like him. The video coming out later on the channel in a couple of hours is all about how he feels very Smith Rowe to me in the way he would fit into our system. So it's a case of 1 out, 1 in. But little spoiler, when I was talking about sort of the tactical fit, and you look at the last game of the season against Everton, is it about Timber and Zinchenko tucking in, Timber, Calafiori, Timber, White, whoever it is, tucking in from fullback, having double inverts to get Eze more in that 8 spot? We will see. So let's see. Is it a case of Smith Rowe out for Eze in? I've basically spoiled the video that's coming out later. But I do just give you all the updates on the Eze information and how it could look tactically as well, and discuss a few various positions. But I'll be doing a in focus for AFTV on Eze because I think he's a really good player that I think is really wanted. Who else is in the running for him? Tottenham have been mentioned. I think we've got to talk about him in more detail because it's not a natural fit as a winger. It's not a natural fit as an 8. So how does he solve either of those positions from an Arsenal perspective? We'll do a video of that later this week on AFTV. Idan, swap Eddie, Reece, and ESR for Kudus. Yeah, and they probably still want 50 million. And I'm not saying that's fair value. I'm just saying, Kudus is that good and that important. JJ, thank you. I really appreciate that. Of course, if you are just jumping in now, we talk about the Tavares stuff at the beginning of the stream. We're only 18 minutes in, but I keep these to from 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not looking to do super long streams. All these just about giving you the latest news very quickly and getting some of your thoughts with everything going on this morning. Had to chat to you. Can you say how much you want of Arsenal rumours like Reece Nelson, Tavares? You asked me how much I'd want fee-wise. This is Ratam asking. Tavares, I think 5 to 7 million was about what I'd expect. And Nelson, I'd want 15 to 20 million, I think. But I sort of change my mind every time I answer that question. But no less than 15, 20 for sure. There is a maximum of non-homegrown players, apparently, according to Tom, who's answering my question from before. And I think that's pretty much it. Want to keep. Here we go. Gene said Real Madrid bid 20 million euros for Euro. So I think Arsenal are doing well by bidding low because clubs are exploiting bigger clubs. Yeah, but they'll say that the big clubs are exploiting the smaller clubs by offering so little for some of these players. So yeah, pick your poison. I mean, for me, ultimately, everyone who's buying wants to pay the least money and everyone who's selling wants to get the most for them. Bentley, I don't think is a deal we're stressed about. So we probably did just go in with a pretty insultingly low offer. Bentley will be thinking, do I want to be second choice at Wolves or third choice at Arsenal? Now, you might think, well, obviously at Arsenal, if you're not playing for either, you'd rather be at Arsenal. But it's not as simple as that. Jose Sarr, if he has a bit of a shocker, has an injury, he's playing Premier League football for a really good side. So, there might be other clubs in for Bentley who are like, yeah, we'll pay $1 million to get him as our number one. So, I'm not sure this is as... I don't think the Bentley thing we must feel pretty confident we can get him if we're going to spend or offer that little. But let's see. All right. Yeah, some people are mentioning Olmo. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Actually, against France the other day. I would love Olmo. Yeah, he looked really, really good. That's kind of the midfield I think fits us more. And Marino too, because you could swap it out to the 8. Eze feels like another 10 in that position. I mean, almost a 10, so maybe I'm waffling. All right, everyone, we're going to leave it there. Big thank you for joining. I really, really appreciate it. Go check out the podcast from yesterday and the video coming out later. Loads of content because things are picking up. And if you want more thoughts on the updates of all these transfers, I'll discuss them in more detail on AFT. This is just an update to get some of your thoughts and give you quick fire of mine as well. Many thanks. Catch you very soon.